It's good on me because my microphone seems a little bit low. Like the stand isn't staying. Like I've got a floppy mic stand. This doesn't happen to me every time, guys. But I've got a floppy mic stand. Yeah. Ugh, come on, mic stand. And there we go. That'll do. That's good enough. I think that's good enough. I think you guys can hear me nice and clear. Okay. Welcome to Overwatch and welcome to Catching the Many with Mercy. Today's going to be a little bit different, as you can see up in the top corner on the YouTube video that we're going to be looking at today. PS4 Platinum Diamond. So this guy's in Platinum, but he's so close he might as well be Diamond. Like this game is literally on the border, on the very fringe of being full Diamond. So whatever, don't care too much about that. It's on, it's right on the border. We'll be watching. I think Hazros will be our guy, and he'll be playing Mercy. Now, let me pre-do this. And Thaddeus, I'll answer your question probably towards the end. It's a better time for questions. Basically, console is different to PC. So the big difference in console and PC is one, aiming is a little bit looser in general. So you're a little bit safer in certain aspects of the game. So for example, Pharah is a little bit safer in the air. There is a little bit of aim assist, but it's not perfect. There's all kinds of things that sort of change things. The big thing I noticed when I was watching this video was situational awareness seems much, much harder in general. So we're going to start the video. We're going to say bye to Twitch chat. Bye, Twitch chat. Woo! Dragged off. There we go, Twitch chat. Yeah, if you got questions, if you come up with questions during the VOD, make sure to ask them at the end. It's way easier for me to do, and we'll do a big Q&A there for about 20 minutes. Let's get to it. So yeah, we'll be watching Hazros 3K rating, nice and simple. Pretty much around Diamond. As we start rotating through, Insta-lock in the Mercy. Now, I can't comment too much on console meta. I know a couple like broad sweeping strokes. I know, for example, Winston is pretty good on console. I know that Pharah is actually pretty decent on console as well. We've got some communication coming, which is nice. Always good to see. Hit scan is a little bit weaker in general. Stuff that requires a little less precision aim is a bit stronger in general. Stuff like Torbjorn, Symmetra. Symmetra is apparently super strong. So yeah, that's something to watch for. I imagine Mercy's going to actually be pretty strong on console as well, just because you don't have to do quite as much sort of fiddly aiming. You just have to be in the general area and you're providing reliable healing. Winston is not good on console, Lamo. Oh yeah, I can't comment too much on meta. Like this is just what I hear every so often.
I mean, I'm Mercy main. Sorry.
Anyway, we've got communication between the Mercy Pharah. That's great. We've got Mercy Pharah. Absolutely superb. Very, very strong as a combination. Just really, really good as a combination. Why is it strong? It's pretty simple. Pharah's biggest weakness is in her survivability. If we have a boost to that survivability, a nice bump to the survivability, we have no issue there. A nice look at the guy's profile. But yeah, we have, like, Pharah has more space to do things in the air. She can be more aggressive. She can take more risks. She also just does a lot more damage in general, and is just a lot stronger in general. So Mercy going to be A++ in supporting that. Okay, we're going to get started. Otherwise, the team lineup, relatively simple. Oh, okay, captions look like that, apparently. I think I pressed C by accident. Who knows? The contrast, yeah, the contrast and brightness is actually very different as well, like, looking at this footage. Corner of my green screen is getting... Oh, yes, this... Oh, that's reality. It's reality seeping in. We can fix that. I'll fix that. If I click here, and then do this. Whoop. There we go. There it goes. I just have to be careful with my hands. I don't do too much with my hands. That was me. Okay, fixed. Focus. Okay, let's talk about our team lineup. Let's talk about healing priority, because as Mercy, we provide very reliable healing. We provide very straightforward healing. We also provide fairly rapid healing. So, for example, the way I think of healing in my head is pretty simple, okay? You have rapid healing sources, which is you have the Lucia, rapid healing sources and stuff like Mercy, Anna, even Soldier 76 is actually fairly rapid. I think it's like 50 heal per second. It's actually pretty quick as a heal. And we'll go over what's happening on the screen while I just finish this thought. You guys can watch to see what happens and then start thinking about, where could we be changing things, for example. Slow healing is stuff like Zenyatta. And it's stuff like Lucio. Like, Lucio is very slow healing until he amps it up, but amp it up, it's on a long cooldown, and it's still not necessarily that fast at healing. So, if stuff is getting critical, like we saw the McCree was critical a couple of seconds ago, as Mercy, we want to be prioritizing that, okay? We want to be prioritizing the people who are in immediate risk, because we can pick them right up out of it very quickly. And that's a very powerful tool. That's a super powerful tool. Okay, let's back up and watch this first fight, because there's a couple of things that are kind of interesting. So, On PC, it'll be very easy for me to just move the mouse around and keep an eye on everything. We want to generally be keeping tabs on the Pharah, but again, we want to be looking for these big sources of damage. Stuff like this McCree here, we want to be topping him off as soon as we can. When he gets topped off, we want to be going back to the Pharah. The Pharah makes a huge mistake in dropping down here. We don't follow that. We let that go. If Pharah is going to drop down right on top of the enemy team, fine, whatever. Whoa, Songo takes for 2 months. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for sticking with us for 2 months. Awesome. Thanks for sticking with us for so long anyway, Songo tanks. Jesus. Really want to be healing this diva right now. Unfortunately, we didn't quite get to her quick enough. The second you start seeing things start dropping low, that's our high priority. Like, Lucio isn't actually in too much risk here. There's a Roadhog providing me with a bit of threat. He can move back. As the DBS is focusing on this, Lucio can pick himself up with slow healing. We can keep this alive with fast healing. So. The way we want to be thinking about healing as Mercy is we want to be putting that healing beam on targets that are in combat, taking damage at the time to ensure that their survivability is so much higher. When they start getting topped off, and when they are topped off, then we can start thinking about using damage amp more, using the, well, I'm tempted to call it right click, but it's not going to be right click here, it's R1 by the looks of things. Again, I very rarely play on console. Oh god! Oh god!
Thank you for lovely content and advice.
You're most welcome, overpowered soap. I need some overpowered soap in my life. So again, good priority here, good positioning as well. I actually really like this. I like seeing stuff like this. So as Mercy, we don't have many defenses of our own. We've got to be very careful with our own life. So one thing I did like seeing is we heal here and we instantly tuck around the back of this. Just a general note on Watchpoint Gibraltar, if they're running a Widowmaker, be super careful when you're coming around here, because Widowmakers like to stand up here and can get quite an easy shot on you. So I was perfectly fine with that motion. That's going to be a little bit risky. Now we want to be careful, because you notice we've got no big front line, so we definitely want to be topping that far off and staying nice and safe. This motion, less concerned. I'm less happy about slightly, I guess. Oh god.
Love the videos on YouTube and your streams. Don't get to watch often live, but love it when I do.
Don't get to watch often live. Good job, voice bot. Thank you so much for sticking with us. I know, Shorty. Thank you so much. 3 months. Awesome. Fucking great. Beautiful. Let's get some hype in chat. Nice. Good stuff. Okay, so refocusing the thought. Because as Mercy, we want to be trying to make sure that we can reach as many people as possible. Again, we've got to do rapid toss. Like, there's no way that we're going to be saving something like that, which is the Zarya gets hooked and gets killed by the hook. That's out of our hands. We can't fix that. We can zip over. Okay. We're honestly fine just staying back here, I think, rather than jumping out into the middle here. Because if you think about, like, when I did coaching the many Pharah, I talked about this concept of open spaces and cover. We just jumped out into the middle of the sky, and we are now just in zero cover. Now we're getting to a little bit of cover, but now we've been pressured away from the rest of our team. This is actually a really nice position for Mercy in general, because we have the res. If we're coordinating and our entire team feels like coordinating, what we can do is tell the team, okay, fight and die on the point, and we literally just stand behind this big Overwatch symbol and res everyone. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. We're not in position to get any res off. That's mostly the team's coordination failure. When you are playing Mercy, like, I think in this game, it's literally just Hazros and the Pharah in microphones, which is a massive shame. Like, more people really need to be listening to the comms. If not, like, if they're not participating, they can fucking listen. Because it's a huge advantage to your team to be able to say, when you have res, fight and die on the point, I will res you. And then you've just got to make sure you fight and die on the point. There's actually a really good example of making a death call, and I think this guy was also on microphone, which is good. You can make death calls, and when a death call comes through, you're trying to die as fast as possible. Again, we know there's combat up here. For example, this McCree needs topping off, but he's out of threat. So we have like a decision point here where we're trying to decide on the heal priority. We've dashed up there. Okay, we topped the McCree up. We can leave him on half. We don't actually have to go chasing that. The more immediate threat is actually over here, because this is actually in combat. McCree's tucked away. Lucio can now pick him up. Lucio's in a position where he's healing him. We have to keep protecting that. I would honestly be trying to stay on the D.Va to try and stop something like that happening, because D.Va's fighting a very dangerous enemy, and then we could pick that off. Nice. Good stuff finishing that off, though. Don't be afraid to ever take out your pistol every now and then as Mercy, just to get a kill or two. A dead enemy is an enemy not dealing damage anymore, and that's actually very efficient. Let's talk about Pharah ults, because this is going to happen if you're playing Pharah Mercy. Or, well, just let's do it cleanly. Pharmacy. Pre-healing the Pharah is actually really, really useful. Like, don't worry too much about putting a damage amp on there. And the reason why you pre-heal is you want to be able to heal them before the enemy team can react to it. And make sure that when they do react to it, all that burst damage just doesn't delete her. Like, when you are damage boosting her, if you think about how much damage a nano-boosted Pharah puts out, it's very rare you actually need more damage. Very, very rare you need more damage. So you want to be keeping the heal on her for as long as possible. And the reason is simple. Like, most 200 hit point heroes will die in a second. The only things that you really might need a little bit more damage for are going to be stuff like the Reinhardt. Even then, it's just literally like the right click, hold it for maybe a second, then just go back to the left click. But I just like to hold left click because it's so much safer. Getting the full duration out is so much easier. Okay. Let's back up, because there's a couple of interesting things that happen after this as well. So we're in a really tricky situation. We got threats all around us. We have to be very careful. So I actually really like this movement here where we're tucking away. Because we have res, we want to be super careful. And we want to be playing defensively in locations around these crates, for example. I'd be happier if we were tucked more around this way, but we want to be very careful for threats on the roof because we're going to see something here right there. Hopefully you guys see it too. Hopefully you guys spot it too, and I think actually the Mercy does call it out because he's in voice comms and does a good job calling that out. Hey, there's a Reaper going up there on the top. We got to get rid of that. And he's informing the Pharah, and it's the Pharah's job to go and deal with that, which is good. So you definitely want to go deal with that. I'm actually okay with the dash up here and like sinking down here. That's absolutely fine. We don't have to complete the full dash, and if we floated around up there, we'll be in Reaper's range by dropping down a bit. We can still heal, still provide support, and still be out of Reaper's range nice and safe. So that was a good movement. That was perfectly fine. Okay, Pharah's extending a bit. We want to be careful about our positioning because, for example, this. When we're floating down here, again, think about the cover, think about the view. If Soldier 76, for example, is stood in this space or is stood more up here, we are in just shitloads of danger. We want to be very careful. We don't have to worry too much about that McCree. If this Pharah wants healing, she can easily come back and come to us. Case in point. Okay, let's top this character off. Around the corner. Good. We want to be careful. We do want to keep an eye on the fight. Like this to me is like super defensive positioning. Which is fine because we have the res, so we're waiting for a big res kill. Now that deaths are happening, well, now that a death has happened, we want to be thinking about getting the res, and I think this is the instance I remember, where this will be a great opportunity for a huge res, but Lucio does a really big mistake, which to me shows that there isn't like a clear death call going out, is that the Lucio actually drags the fight out for too long, and makes our life a lot harder by doing a sound barrier. So, you're playing defensively, we're waiting for the res, It would be nice if all the team was sort of fighting more around this choke, so if the McCree comes in a bit, the Pharah comes in a bit, and everyone just well, no, not the McCree. Who's over this way? There's someone over this way, I think. No, there isn't. There was before, earlier, whatever, I'm getting confused. The Zarya comes in a bit more towards the point, the McCree comes more in towards the point. Everyone wants to sort of be fighting and dying around here, and if they did that, we would have been perfectly fine and got a very easy res. We had to get the death call out, we had to make sure that the team is dying reliably, because now sights come out, one person's died, and we're thinking, okay, let's brace for a res, and then Lucio drops a sound barrier, it instantly gets eaten up. What could have been better, for example, is if Zarya dies, Lucio dies, Pharah dies, McCree dies, we do this, res, sound barrier comes out, we re-engage, we win. Like, that would be way more efficient, and it's just this idea of getting that death call out, and this is more, like, it's not something that the Mercy can necessarily control, but it's important information to convey to everyone when you're playing with Mercy, that you want to be getting these big wipes. Like, you want to wipe, and you want to wipe fast. You want to just die as quickly as possible. You don't want to be stalling out, surviving for 80s. You want to die because she can pick you up instantly. And if you're like a Roadhog or something, or a Reinhardt, Mercy res is just literally, if you're a Roadhog, it's a 600 hit point heal in an instant. It's huge. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I wouldn't call this so much the Mercy's fault, it's just generally like the team lost some coordination, and then it leaves you in a crappy position. This happens all the time, don't worry too much about this, where you're making the decision of, okay, I can either res the Zarya, or I can try and wait till this Pharah dies. Pharah didn't die, we got in, we got the res we could have gotten. If we held on any longer, we would probably be caught in the Death Blossom and wouldn't have gotten anything. The fight was already kind of over, but we tried to salvage it, but Mercy res you could kind of be a bit aggressive with. It charges relatively fast, especially if you do have stuff like a Diva. And I think this guy starts to get a bit worried about his performance because I noticed the Pharah at this point in the game does start to say things like, oh, it's fine, it's okay, like quite a lot. So it sounds like there's a little bit of anxiety creeping in maybe. Have a quick slap of, let's do some coke first. Okay, we're damage jumping around this corner, that's fine. This is where I'd be checking the scoreboard, and, well, not the scoreboard, but you get the idea. I'll be pressing, on the PC I'll be pressing tab, I have no idea what button it is on console. And the reason why is, we're stood up here, and standing here is really, really safe, unless they have, like, Diva, they have Pharah, they have Winston, they have Genji. If they have those heroes, standing up here is risky. If they don't have those heroes, standing up here is fine. Anything that can come over this wall, if they see us first, we're just going to be burned down, focused. Don't worry about the Pharah is off having adventures on our own. If she's ranging that far forward, and we are busy being, like, the rapid healer on the team, we have to prioritize healing the team. That was just very greedy out of the Pharah. That ultimate was way too high up to be effective. It's no surprise that they instantly get neutralized. Okay. Feeling good. We want to back off probably a bit now because they're starting to put pressure on this area. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see this soldier, for example, go up here. So we want to back off and get behind our team to make sure we can keep pumping healing into this diva, for example. Be a nice source of easy ultimate and keep her in the fight, able to do some damage. Now that we're up here, you notice that I'm like, the fact that you're standing here makes me feel very exposed. Just because so many of the enemy team, and we're kind of in hook range as well. Like, now I'm scared. I am feeling nervous about what can see us, what can shoot us. And we want to be careful with that. Okay, we want to try and get healing over there. No, we can't do it. We've got to try and get this ultimate up as soon as possible. Let's try and do it with that. Almost. Pistol. Good, 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 good. Shoot, 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 shoot. Almost get the kill. 2 dead. This is 3 dead. That's perfect. Good res. Absolutely good res. Absolutely valuable res. This actually might have been the game-changing moment. Now, yep, we're prioritizing healing. We want to survive. Soldier gunning us down. Feels bad, man. Soldier standing in a good location. Just allowed to turret. Was there anything we could have done there differently? We could have stayed over here. No, we couldn't have stayed over there. We've got to be providing healing in this fight. Honestly, there's nothing we could have really done there. We stayed away from the Reinhardt, which is fine. We can't account for all the threats. We can't account for the soldier, so it doesn't surprise me that we go down. Is this console? Yes, this is console. It basically means I can't really comment too much on team comp because I don't know the meta so much on console. But the same kind of logic still applies in terms of positioning, healing, and it kind of works easier for Mercy as well because I don't know like how different aiming is on console, for example. So Widowmaker on console could be vastly different, but hey, Mercy is pretty similar, I think. We're providing healing. Again, that's literally all we want to be doing. This is risky, this motion here. We've literally just moved into the enemy team. So you notice out here, we're kind of safe. They're trying to dodge all these threats. Like, don't worry about dashing after a Mei. Mei's fine. Mei's got this shit. By running around here, we've just really exposed ourselves, and that's actually very, very risky. When we could have been further away and providing more reliable healing. Reaper coming in, spinning, doing his thing. Still not enough to get rid of the Zarya, it seems. It's fun to see that console has the same issue as PC Overwatch, with overtime dragging on endlessly. Building ultimate also on this point is actually really important, because if you do like one cool trick, and I call it a cool trick completely wrong, if you like jump off here, you can res people on the point. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. The meta is essentially the same, just hits against characters are just generally less trusted until high tier. Okay, makes sense. Does make sense. Otherwise, like, I'm perfectly fine with this heal priority. Perfectly fine with just focusing so much on the diva. We definitely want to be focusing on the diva. Honestly, I'm less keen on like super defensive positioning with the res here. Actually, am I? We get a quick flash of the enemy team. Do they have a Zarya? Like, what I'm thinking about is like, where's their next team wipe coming from? When is that coming? What's the team wipe going to be? How do I position myself accordingly? And we only get like a split second of team here. Whoop. There. So where's the next team wipe going to be? Well, it's probably going to have to be an Earthshatter plus Beyblade. So if we're never in range of the Reaper, we should be okay. If we die, then we res, and we can just we can resurrect down below, and then we can just pick people up from beneath. Gibraltar is kind of a weird map like that. Not something that you should be relying on necessarily, perhaps, but hey. Again, I'm still not keen on this positioning. This is why. You notice how fast we're dying, just because their soldier went onto the high ground in the back, and we start taking a shitload of damage. With a little bit of support, that could have been even worse. I'm honestly fine with just the healing here, especially with like the Reaper this far back. He's just chasing us around. Then we definitely want to be running around, healing, dashing around, staying alive. It's good to see that console is the exact same issue on PC as well, with removing soldier from like the high ground back here. That's more Tracer's job, so you're worrying about that. Just keep an eye out for any threats. And otherwise, yeah, just stick with like this position. I absolutely love. I think this is perfect. Back here, not so much in here. In here, it's a little bit riskier because A, we don't have good line of sight on our team, so we can't provide healing if we even need it. And when we're up here, we're just ridiculously vulnerable. If we're tucked back behind our team, they've got to get past Diva, they've got to get past Zarya. We have things just that will block bullets for us. And if they send someone flanking around, if a Reaper comes up behind us, we're kind of screwed up here because there's no help. If a Reaper comes behind us down there, we can dash towards our team, nuzzle in a bit, survive a bit more. You just have to be careful of stuff like dropping down from this high ground here. Okay. This position to be is super, super scary. We're just so exposed standing up here. It's just like a Mercy on a plinth going, oh! Okay, self-destruct gone in. Blizzard gone in. Just a lot of resources. Spamming down the soldier. Oh! Mercy actually very good at counter-sniper. You notice how fast we're dying. Like, this is the weakness of this position up here. We don't need to be up there to be effective. We can be effective by just staying behind our team, healing up, and then anytime the enemy team looks to be swinging forward, we pull back, we move ourselves back so that our team can die quickly, and then we can get a big res and get, you know, a nice play of the game out of the back of it maybe. which would be cool.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine, they're pushed up.
Again, like in this instance, this is where you want your team coming back to you. Again, we're going to this high ground, but during all of this time, we're not providing any healing. We're going to be a little bit careful about that. This is where Death Call should be coming out. Death Call should definitely be coming out. Just die on the point. Pick 3. Good. Good. This is what should have happened earlier. Res, sound barrier, counter engage. Like, it's very, very powerful to do. Okay, let's find a target to damage amp. Probably the Zarya might be best. Actually, let's pick Zarya back up. And we're going to talk about damage amping and healing, I think, in a second. I still stand by what I said ages ago in my easy-to-learn Mercy, which... Actually, yeah, let's talk about it now while we have this overtime, because there's not too much to talk about here. Putting the damage amp on the Zarya would have been better there, but I don't know how easy it is to quickly swap targets on console, so hey. But just, like, AoE, when there's AoE damage required, damage amp that, it's absolutely superb. Mercy's DPS is okay, it's pretty good, but in general, damage amping is better. And let's talk about damage amping while we have this downside. Okay? Because with damage amping, we have this nice thing where if you think about a one-on-one situation, okay? You think about a one-on-one situation. The most safe moment in a one-on-one is when the enemy is dead. If the enemy is dead, you are safe. You can be healed. You can take as long as you like getting healed back up. So in a 2-on-1 situation where you have Mercy plus damage dealer, so Mercy... random damage dealer X, McCree, whatever, doesn't matter, versus enemy McCree, okay? We want to actually start off on damage amp, and then when the McCree takes 1 or 2 shots and dips under about, like, against an enemy McCree, I'd say it will be about 120, I'd say, well, if he takes 1 shot and dips below 140, that's when I'm healing him back up, because there is a threshold where that McCree can get 1 shot, and we want to make sure that that McCree is always above that threshold. As long as he's above that threshold, it doesn't matter if he finishes the fight on 200 hit points or 2 hit points. As long as he finishes the fight quickly, he is then safer. If no one is around, he's on 2 hit points, we can just pick him up. Now, this doesn't quite apply to like team fight logic, but it does apply when you're in poke battles. When the enemy when your hero starts dropping low, if they don't have a source of burst damage, for example, if they don't have a McCree, if they have like Soldier, Winston, Reinhardt, who's miles away, not dealing damage, Diva, who's miles away, not dealing damage, they don't have these big burst sources, you can let people drop to about 100, then instantly probably pick them back up before any meaningful damage actually happens, and provide that damage out for a bit longer, putting more damage out from your team, because there is a thing in Overwatch, which is pretty simple, which is the team that deals more damage will win more often. That's a statistic, and it's pretty simple. I'm very, very confident in that statistic. The team that does more damage will win more often. By finding ways to eke out more damage, you're actually helping your team in a very reliable way, especially on stuff like Pharah, where the damage amp, because Pharah deals big blocks of damage, she deals like 120 damage a rocket, putting a 33% amp on that is absolutely huge. Okay, flying out here, this is